This is Grace with Graceful Living. Today we have a special guest. Lillian Cumic of Hawaii, a Vegan Paradise, will be here with us, showing us her special recipe, the ultimate cheese sauce. Let's hear from Lillian about how she learned how to make cheese.
Actually, when I went vegan, the first thing I did, Grace, was I went online and I learned all about vegan cheese making. Well, I was making things like Rejuvelac, which is a sprouted water from quinoa or grains like that to put into my cheeses. So I took it very seriously and I learned everything I could in about a year or two. I gave myself a year to work it out, and then I started teaching these simple cheeses in my classes, which is funny because the first year I moved to Hawaii in 2019, just before the pandemic, it was in June, I ended up on the cover of Crave magazine for my vegan cheeses.
Nice.
That was a nice accomplishment because it just goes to show how easy cheeses are. Today's recipe is a cashew cheese sauce. And Grace, not only is it vegan, it's gluten-free, it's non-oil. And this cheese sauce makes about 2 cups of cheese sauce, which is enough to throw into a pasta, use as a dressing, as a fondue. This cheese sauce is so versatile. In my book, Hawaii, a Vegan Paradise, I called it Ultimate Cheese Sauce.
Nice.
So you'll find that for anyone who has the book. It takes about 3 to 5 minutes to come together. The only thing you need, I know it is, this is crazy. Like whoever's watching this, I hope you try this recipe because you're not going to believe how it comes out so cheesy. I myself am always astonished by how a little bunch of cashews can turn into something so creamy and cheesy with so few ingredients, which I'm going to go through. But this is actually 1/4 cup of raw cashews. You cannot use cooked toasted cashews. They must be raw. Anytime you're making vegan cheeses, just keep that in mind. Always use the raw nut that you're incorporating into them. This has been soaking overnight in water. And I know that people don't plan that far ahead. So when you don't have soaked cashews on hand, you just boil them in water for 10 minutes, in boiling water for
nice. That's a good tip.
10 to 15 minutes. No salt, nothing, just boiling water. Just take one out and try and break it open, see if it's softer than it was. You are going to put it through your mixer, so it will mix up. But what you really have to be careful of when you're making vegan cheeses is that you don't end up with a gritty feel. And if you do, it means you haven't soaked or boiled the cashews long enough. So you want them to be really smooth. And honestly, I always, every night before I go to bed, I soak 1/4 cup, which is 40 grams of raw cashews because I use it so often. So 40 grams of the raw cashews that have been soaked, rinsed and drained, and then 2 cups of water. I always use distilled water or not from the tap because you're going to be eating this. 2 tablespoons of tapioca starch. You can also use arrowroot starch if you prefer, both of those which are vegan. 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. This is what's going to give it that cheesy, nutty flavor. And 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Whatever salt you use is okay. I personally use Himalayan pink salt or Hawaiian sea salt are my favorites. 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar or lemon juice, and 1/2 teaspoon of miso paste. That is all that goes into this cheese sauce.
Very easy.
Yes, and now you're just going to mix it. So you're going to pour that into your pan or skillet and heat it on high. Okay. And this is really all you're going to do is let it come to a boil. It's going to start bubbling and that's it. It's ready to go. You can flavor it any way you like. If you're going to turn it into a nacho sauce, you might want to add some sriracha, some smoked paprika, chili powder, cayenne pepper, or fresh chilies. This is also where you can add your herbs, fresh dried herbs, whatever it is that you're using. If I use this for in a pasta dish, I'll often add some chopped fresh parsley or whatever herbs I have on hand.
I asked Lillian, what if you wanted to make an Alfredo sauce?
You can add some black pepper, chopped sun-dried tomatoes are great, chopped olives. So how you use this, I did mention earlier on in our conversation. I actually use this as a fondue, which means it's just a dip.
Yeah.
It is so good, Grace. You will eat veggies if you have this. It will entice you. And I wanted to show viewers this. I pick up little individual fondue pots. Isn't that cute? Look how small it is, but it's just, yeah, it's just enough for one person. And here you've got the little candle here to, to keep your fondue warm. So you can do that for, individual, when you have guests or something, and then, just do a nice little selection of raw veggies. I like to dip, instead of bread, although I love bread, I also like to dip baked tofu, crispy baked tofu into it, and it is delicious. I mean, broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, bell peppers. It makes you want to eat more veggies. The other thing I love to do is use it as a substitute for Caesar salad dressing.
Oh, really?
Think about it. There's no oil in this at all. And you saw me go through the ingredients. I mean, this stuff is really, you should. So toss it through crispy romaine lettuce. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Throw in some chopped olives, stuff like that. The other thing I like to do is make a rice gratin or a potato vegetable gratin, whatever leftover cooked veggies or rice you have. You can just mix it up with the sauce, put it in an oven dish, and then bake it at 400 degrees, 20-30 minutes. And you have a nice little cheesy gratin or casserole dish that is nice. Yeah, there's so much you can do with it. My husband loves this cheese sauce, and he's not vegan. He will eat veggies if I use this cheese sauce. So yeah, hope you guys try it. I can't show you exactly what's going on. It's just about ready to bubble. So it's been about, I guess, 3 minutes. And it's turning into a very silky, when I pour it into the fondue pot, you might get a better look. It's amazing how this turns out cheesy. I remember my students they'd be trying it and be going, did you sneak something in there? Like there's not even vegan cheese in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally just cashews. All right, so this is ready now.
Sure.
Let's see if I can get my little fondue pot. Can you see how silky that is?
Yeah, that's great.
It's thickened up. The tapioca starch that we used as the thickening agent has turned this into a silky, it's just so pretty. Grace, whatever happened to cheese fondue?
Yeah, right?
It's such a great appetizer or poo-poo when you're sitting around, whether you drink wine or not, it doesn't matter. And you've got, a nice array of veggies, fresh veggies and stuff. There we go.
Fabulous.
And then dip and go. Voila.
Thank you so much.
All done in a few minutes. My pleasure. And I was going to say, this recipe is on my YouTube channel, and it's much clearer, the video on that, because I am shooting the cooking process and not me talking through it. So you can find this recipe on my YouTube channel, Lillian Vegan. I think it's under cheese fondue, or something like that. I have over 200 recipe videos. Thank you, Grace, for letting me share a recipe with you on your channel. I also look forward to seeing you again, and wish your viewers happy health and happy vegan cooking.
Thank you, Lillian, for the recipe for your ultimate cheese sauce. You can check out Lillian on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. I did try out the ultimate cheese sauce recipe myself, and I can attest that it made some delicious mac and cheese. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe, or follow me on Instagram. Please go to graceinhawaii.com for more information.